Hey everyone, my name is Patrick. I am the middle school resident here at Grace New Hope, and I have the honor of continuing our devotion series through the book of James. I'll be in James chapter 2, verses 8 through 12. I'll read the scripture, expound a little bit on it, and talk about some real life stuff. So we're going to get in here, James chapter 2, verse 8. If you really keep the royal law found in scripture, love your neighbor as yourself, you are doing right. But if you show favoritism, you sin and are convicted by the law as lawbreakers. For whoever keeps the whole law yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it. For he who said you shall not commit adultery also said you shall not murder. If you do not commit adultery, but do commit murder, you have become a lawbreaker. In verse 12, speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom. I've thoroughly enjoyed going through the book of James. We're teaching it as well in the middle school ministry. And so I've had a chance to kind of break down some scripture and break down what James is talking about. And I have loved how forward and direct James is. He's not playing around. He doesn't play games. He's going to tell us, well, he's telling the early church and he's telling us that there's misbehavior and it needs to be corrected. Here's the right way to live. So he was writing this to the early church, but really he's writing it to the modern church as well. But he's saying, I love verse 8, if you really keep the royal law found in scripture, the first thing that stands out to me is this law is found in scripture. This law is at your fingertips, Patrick. This law, I can go read the law. And he's saying, love your neighbor as yourself. If you do this, then you are doing right. And Jesus really talked about how the whole law boils down to two things: to love God and to love people. And James here is saying, but if you show favoritism, you sin. So that's in direct contrast to loving people. Chelsea touched on favoritism yesterday, and I think it was really great what she said about that God doesn't show favoritism, and so we shouldn't show favoritism. Jesus came and he said it, his words, he has set an example for us to follow. He didn't show any favoritism. He died for each and every single person that's made in the image of God, which is all of us, right? So he didn't show any favoritism, and he has set that example that we need to be following. And it really reminds me, when we show favoritism, we're really doing it out of selfish ambition, right? We are going to treat this person better than we treat this person, and it's because maybe this person makes us feel better, or maybe this person is going to maybe offer more to the church, or maybe this person has something to offer me, therefore I'm going to treat that person better than I treat that person who doesn't have any worldly thing to offer me. And so it brought up some other scripture to my mind in Luke chapter 6. Jesus, in his own words, says, if you love those who love you, what credit is that to you? Even sinners love those who love them. If you do good to those who are good to you, what credit is that to you? Right? It's easy to love the people that are going to do something for me. It's harder to reach out and humbly serve someone without expecting anything in return. And so James is saying that if we show favoritism, we're guilty of sinning against the law. We're going to be found as lawbreakers. And so I think practically we really need to be praying that God will show us who we can serve, and that he will clear our minds and clear our hearts of any favoritism, that we would truly serve others in trying to please God. And that's really what it comes down to, being a humble servant. And just the verse 12, speak and act as those who are going to be judged by the law that gives freedom. How great is it to live on this side of the cross and know that the law was fulfilled with Jesus and that we can live in freedom. From personal experience, I am no longer bound by the things of this world, but I am now a slave and a servant to God, who has made me free from everything that shackled me and kept me in my grave. Guys, I know that was really quick and that was a lot. There's so much more that could be said, But we love you guys. We're praying for the church, and we're so excited to get back to a new normal. We love you guys.